Welcome to the Government News Brief for Monday, January 25, 2016. In the news, farmers urged not to tamper with drainage and irrigation structures, Guyana gets international support to reduce crime and violence, and the category of persons for coroners to be widened. With these and other stories, I am Azim Khan. The Ministry of Agriculture is calling on farmers countrywide to desist from tampering with any of its drainage and irrigation structures, as this would result in worsening of the situation regarding the availability of irrigation water due to the severe El Nino weather condition. The National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, in conjunction with other agencies, are working vigorously to assist farmers with their drainage and irrigation needs due to the low water supply levels which have affected many farmers. The Agriculture Ministry is advising that persons found tampering with drainage and irrigation structures, they will be prosecuted and will also be responsible for repairing and replacing those structures. The Ministry of Public Security continues to work to reduce crime and violence in society through citizens' participation with the launching of a US $15 million Citizen Security Strengthening Program.
Minister of Public Security Khemraj Ramjatan, at the launch of the Citizen Security Strengthening Program, expressed gratitude to the Inter-American Development Bank (IDB) for their commitment towards Guyana's crime prevention efforts.
In 2013, robbery rates reached 214 per 100,000, domestic violence rates 431 per 100,000. We have also some other statistics here. Perception of insecurity. The perception of insecurity increased from 34% in 2006 to almost 53% in 2014 in Region 4.
Minister Ramjatan noted that over the years, crime and violence has been a major obstacle to social and economic development, even as he recognizes the need for assistance from the Guyanese citizens.
While it is obligatory for governments to address problems related to public security in an effort to safeguard the rights and well-being of their citizens, emerging trends in successful crime prevention show that government-citizens partnership are most effective in tackling crime and violence because of the multifaceted nature of this phenomenon.
Minister Ramjatan further stated that government will continue to work with non-governmental organizations, community groups, international organizations, and government ministries to help supplement the IDB-funded program. He said the strength of combined efforts will tackle and help solve crime. With this Government News Brief, I'm Shanta Goberdan reporting.
The foundation is being laid to widen the categories of persons performing the role of coroners through legislation for investigations into the extrajudicial killings. Glendon Greenwich reports.
The amendment will see at least 4 coroners serving the county of Demerara, 3 serving the county of Berbice, and 2 serving the county of Essequibo on a full-time basis.
The bill we took to Parliament was concerned specifically with widening the categories of persons who could be coroners. One amendment we took, an amendment of one section. So the bill that was before the House had nothing to do with ethnicity or any other issue. Just widening and increasing the pool of persons who could perform inquests and inquiries into those extrajudicial killings that had occurred between the years 2000 to 2007.
The Coroners Act, Chapter 403, outlines that the magistrate within a magisterial district should perform the duties of a coroner. However, given the heavy workload and the backlog of cases, a number of inquiries and inquests into unnatural deaths could not be held.
The Coroners Act, like many other acts in Guyana, which would have been there since colonial times, have a lot of things that are, antiquated and so now and obsolete.
The Coroners Act defines a coroner to be the magistrate of the magisterial district in which an unnatural death occurs. It further says that if that magistrate cannot conveniently or speedily be found or is unable to act, the nearest justice of the peace should so serve. The amendment further provides for the appointment by the Judicial Service Commission of fit and proper persons to be coroners for the whole of Guyana. An appointed coroner will have all the powers, privileges, rights, and jurisdiction of a magistrate for the performance of duties where an unnatural death is reported to or comes to the knowledge of the coroner. He or she shall, subject to the other provisions of the Act, forthwith cause due investigation to be made as to the cause of that death, and if necessary, hold an inquest, or if the circumstances so require, shall hold an inquiry.
The Hinterland Employment and Youth Services Program, being rolled out in 6 indigenous communities in Region 8, is benefiting over 100 youths. Paul McAdam reports.
These indigenous youths hail from the communities of Paramakatoy, Monkey Foot, Bamboo Creek, Monkey Mountain, Tussoning, and Tiruka.
I am very happy to say that the skills that they were learning, they actually learned some skills because they produce clothing already that can be worn, fairly decent clothing. And they were taught by, the facilitators are skilled people, resource right from there. We got them from the villages, and the youths are happy. Also, not only to learn skills so that they can earn later on, but happy to earn money. Because, you know, in hinterland areas, how important it is to have money circulate there. Money hardly circulates there unless somebody goes in the bush or somebody gets a contract or somebody cut down some logs. A contract anyway. But other than that, you don't have revenue circulating there. So this program will certainly help the youths.
The students are being trained in areas of tourism, mechanical engineering, plumbing, garment construction, agriculture, event planning and bookkeeping, cake decoration and agriculture, among others.
Let's say garment construction, they can be sewing for the schools and the secondary schools, primary schools, from the cloth that has been distributed, so they can get their contracts from there. The carpentry and joinery can supply the school with and the dorms if necessary, furniture and so on, and even the community and other communities. So I think they're doing quite well and they're happy. They actually attend classes to learn English language in a friendly, youth-friendly way, a more engaging way, mathematics, entrepreneurship, what else? Agriculture, ecotourism, and hospitality. So these, seeing that the ministry will be pushing ecotourism and agriculture, these two subjects come in really, really handy. They will come in really, really handy because from the ecotourism will spring things that, like 3 of the youths perhaps can form a tour guide company. Then you have some doing the catering service. Then you have the front desk operator. Things like that.
The Indigenous Peoples Affairs Ministry will collaborate with the Village Council to supervise the training, and the students will each receive a stipend of 30,000 to fulfill their basic needs. At the end of the training, the youths will either be gainfully employed or will be assisted to create their own business. The Hinterland Employment and Youth Service (HEYS) program targets 3,000 indigenous youths in 100 villages in the hinterland.
Better healthcare services are expected for residents of Akawini in the Pomeroon River as government continues to provide improved access for riverine communities. Shivani Rampasad tells us how.
The residents of the riverine community will soon benefit from better medical care, as a Medex has been earmarked for the area. This decision was swiftly taken after the cries of the residents were heard by President David Granger during a recent visit. Subsequently, the Minister of Public Health, Dr. George Norton, also paid a visit to the residents.
I bring greetings to you from His Excellency, Mr. Granger and Mrs. Granger, who came here. She's there with him all the time. And I want to tell you something specific. As soon as he got back to Georgetown, on his letterhead, written directly to me, Dear Dr. Norton, Minister Norton, the residents of Akwini claims that they are in need of a MEDEX. Please make certain that this is complied with as early as possible. That is from His Excellency the President. I am here for that. Immediately, I found out when is the next batch finishing, and it should be finishing in the next, I think it's in March. I spoke to the director, and he said somebody is earmarked immediately for Akwini. But I am not only contented with that. I want to leave here today with a name or two of your people who we must train, either as community health workers or as MEDEX or as midwife from the village to come back and forth in the village.
During a community meeting, the residents raised several social issues with the minister, which shed light on teenage pregnancy and the need for transportation for children to and from school.
Our children have to find some guardian somewhere along the and in many cases, a lot of them dropped out. After a certain time, the guardian welcomed them with open hand, but after a certain time, it's pressure. You got to take care of the guardian, or fetch water for the guardian bathe, and you got to do this and the other chores. And so the pressure on the kids forced them to drop out.
I'm a teacher working at Barakar Nursery, and I have heard you have said that our His Excellency have tried his best to give out both an engine for transportation, and we, the residents of Waikinipa here, we have a lot of teachers and children going to Barakar School, and we are kindly asking if you can push something that we can get transportation for go to school, at least a 50 and a boat, so that we can get to travel to school, because as for me, I paddle to school about 2 miles every day.
In keeping with government's 3Bs initiative, a boat was promised to the residents. The Boats, Buses and Bicycles initiative, commonly known as the 3Bs, was undertaken through government's recognition of the plight of children in riverine areas, as it relates to the high cost of transportation for children to get to school, ultimately resulting in high dropout rates. In addition, students will also benefit from the provision of basic necessities for attending school in the coming months, including textbooks, school uniforms, and meals, which will now include breakfast. For this government news brief, Shivani Rampaswad reporting.
In keeping with Guyana's legacy, the Mashramani Float Parade, which will have 5 sequences, will take place in May and promises to be an exciting event. Shanaza Low reports.
The much anticipated float parade that is usually held on February 23 will be held on May 26, the day Guyana gained its independence.
That float parade will see 50 pieces of float divided into 5 sequences. Each sequence would represent a decade of our history and would speak particularly to the events, the people, the culture, and whatever specific for that particular decade that will have helped to shape it. Even the way people dress in that decade, you'll want to showcase.
Focus will be placed on Guyana's legacy, such as academics, pioneers, and literary festivals, among many others, which have influenced the country's development.
We're also advocating that we use local music as far as possible, and we would want the colors to be national colors. So that's the type of guidance that we would like to provide for the float parade for May 26th.
Commemoration of Guyana's 50th year of being an independent nation will reflect the progress that has been made from then to now and the lessons learned. A rich program of activities is planned to take place during this year in celebration of the country's jubilee.
The Ministry of Public Health is advising citizens to protect themselves from mosquito bites in light of evolving diseases in the Caribbean, such as Zika. Citizens are urged to sleep under bed nets and to clear their environment of natural and artificial water-filled habitats that support mosquito larvae and use barriers such as insect screens, long clothing, and repellents. The Health Ministry is closely monitoring the situation. That has brought us to the end of the government news brief on Monday, January 25, 2016. All our programs are on our website. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube. Remember to send us your Guyana Nice photo. Here's ours.